Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. To see her is to take a sudden chill. Cruella, Cruella de Vil.
Oh, Cruella is probably one of the greatest villainesses of all movies, not just animated ones.
Cruella de Vil, nobody will ever see a piece of animation like that again.
We all thought that Cruella was a great character, but we had no idea, you know, what an impact she would have.
How do you describe Cruella without using a naughty word?
Vivid, death mask, wicked, villainous.
She's designed for you to sort of loathe her.
She doesn't just enter the movie. Her silhouette shows up like a spider.
And bam, she comes through the door.
Anita, darling!
And right away, you know, this is going to be a major character in the film.
I mean, even her smoke was green smoke, and she smoked pink cigarettes.
She's crazed. She's, you know, fixated on one thing she's gonna do.
You know, to make a coat out of puppy skins.
I don't care how you kill the little beast, but do it!
She's appealing at the same time as being pure evil, and the animation is a big part of that.
I think it was a great synthesis of a number of talents. You have Mark Davis's animation, Betty Lou Gerson's voice, Bill Pete's story work, the original inspiration from the book by Dodie Smith.
In the book, Cruella has hair that is black on one side and white on the other. She's described as being this great white fur coat.
I live for furs. I worship furs.
Of course, Cruella de Vil was a character that grew out of Bill Pete's development of what Dodie Smith had written for the book. And it's really Bill Pete who came up with a lot of the ideas, a lot of the comedy, a lot of the gags, a lot of the poses and gestures even come from Bill Pete. The animators were smart enough to pick up on that and plus it and do it better.
In the hands of a master animator, of Mark Davis, she just comes alive in a way that is quite extraordinary.
Yes, I know. I know.
It was perfect casting having Mark Davis do Cruella because Mark Davis was an amazing draftsman.
Cruella was a delight, really, for the animator. At least we felt at the time, and I still feel that way.
Oh, Mark loved Cruella. He used to laugh at his drawings, too, and he loved the caricature of her, you know, the way he was handling her.
He would be drawing, and if he liked something he was doing and it was funny, he would chortle along with when he was drawing it. And I always knew he was enjoying what he was doing and that it was going to be funny.
What Mark gives it is this bizarre look, this cadaverous face, the arched eyebrows, the gash of a mouth, the cackling laugh. All of the characteristics which the voice talent of Betty Lou Gerson and Mark Davis's animation bring together.
Betty Lou Gerson gave you so much to work with, and she was absolutely marvelous.
How marvelous, how marvelous, how perfectly...
The punctuation of the way she explodes in her lines, and yet has a refinement to her.
Anita, you're such a wit.
You know, she came from money, she's used to getting her way. There's so much in the voice that tells you about that character.
What a performance. She was a narrator of Cinderella.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a tiny kingdom.
She also does a little bit as Mrs. Birdwell on the What's My Crime TV show spoof in the film.
If your crime wasn't robbery, did you do someone in?
You know that part in Mary Poppins when the kids are running away from the bank and they encounter a street woman? You know, that's Betty Lou Gerson in a cameo role. What a great actress she was.
In those days, they shot a lot of live action reference for the animators to use, but Betty Lou Gerson didn't really look that much like Cruella de Vil. So the Disney animators brought in Mary Wickes, the great character actress. I'm sure a lot of TV viewers have seen the episode of I Love Lucy where Mary played, I think, a Hungarian ballet mistress. And that was Mary being very, very haughty and dictatorial, and she brought that to bear in Cruella, too.
Mary Wickes gave you a first rough that was interesting to study. She did some very marvelous things. The gestures were of the type of person that Cruella was. In other words, she was a flamboyant kind of character that you had to have her brought.
Do you understand?
I mean, Mark just loved playing her over the top, you know. He loved the idea with the cigarette holder and the whole thing, and, you know, because Mark was sophisticated himself.
And when I talked to Mark about this years ago, he said, well, thinking back, maybe I shouldn't have pushed her design that much. And I said, don't say that. That's the reason why that movie is so great, because you pushed her design so much that the other animators had to catch up with that, because they were holding back.
The truth is, from hearing Milt talk, the animators felt a little like she stole the show.
Milt must have been pretty impressed, and he was not easily impressed by anything. But Cruella is such an outstanding character, and he didn't do her.
And that drove Milt crazy, because he wanted to do the crazy villainess.
I was just amused how these two animators were absolutely great friends, but always had this little rivalry going on. By the time it came to Rescuers, and Milt had a chance to animate his villainess, and he told me this. I said, I went into Mark's room and I told Mark, I'm gonna blow your Cruella off the screen. You just wait and see.
I'll get even. Just wait. You'll be sorry.
Milt calls me down. I got something to show you. I said, okay. I come down, he's on the moviola, and it's Medusa. He shows me the rough animation, his animation on Medusa taking off her lipstick. I said, Milt, that is great.
And they're both great in their own way. I would say that Cruella wins, if there is such a contest, because she has a greater role in the film. And it's just a winner. You can't take her eyes off that character.
There are very few people at the studio that could have drawn that character anywhere near as well as Mark Davis did.
I've had lots of compliments on the character, which pleases me, no end.
It's a tour de force for him, I think. Probably the greatest animation he's ever done.
He never animated again after 101 Dalmatians. I mean, what a way to cap a career.
Look out for